Hey, good afternoon. It's Thursday, May 7th. It's a beautiful day afternoon here. It's 4 o'clock. Welcome to an open door. This is finding the Advaita or the non-dual in A Course in Miracles. And I'm going to start us off today just so you can get your page right on page 309, The Treasure of God. I'm just going to move us right into section 5 in chapter 8. So get
Okay,
yourself to.
I'm there.
Okay, good. Chapter 5, section 8. But before we start, we'll settle in a little bit and I'll put in the chat where we are.
Oh, chapter 5, section 8.
I'm sorry, I always do that. Chapter 8, section 5.
Five. Okay, that's what I
Okay,
thought.
sorry. Thank you for that correction. Page 309.
Okay, I
All
am
right.
there.
So for most of us who are joining, it's in the afternoon. Not for May so much, but uh, it's not morning time. So let's just settle in and just feel yourself in your body, however that feels. And just breathe normally and relax yourself. Let your shoulders drop. And as you breathe, just allow the out breath to just drop away. It's interesting to me that it takes more energy to inhale than it does to exhale. Even though the air we breathe in is our life force, it's completely connected to our life and to the body. Letting the breath go in some ways is easier and more relaxing than breathing in. If you notice that, just let the breath drop away naturally. And then breathing in happens on its own as well. And on the out breath, just let go of anything that you sense in your immediate awareness that would benefit from being released. So just let it go. No need to think about it too much. It'll drop away on its own. We are living in very interesting times. And there's so much chaos. Even if you don't pick up a paper or turn on the TV, the chaotic energy is around us. It's in the people we meet at the grocery store. As we move through our daily life, it's kind of in the air. And so we use this time to bring us back and to recenter us, to remind us that the world has nothing that we want. because it's not our true home, but it is still our experience. So release the world for the next hour. And let's just join together to read the words and understand the words together, to share our experience of the words. And so the impulse comes to gather. And the quality of how we are together, how we talk, how we share, how we understand each other with the depth of our being. This is our gift to the world. The purpose of every gathering is discovered. It's always to recognize beauty and to love what is beautiful. However that unfolds in the moment. Our conversation rises out of every particle of being. Know yourself welcome to this empty table, a cleared space where something new can happen. When you take the hands of someone you love, what do those hands become? So let us take each other's hands through time and space. And let's share this time together. And as always, all comments are welcome. All understanding can be shared. We just try to keep it to our own experience, because as we will read in this section, truth can only be experienced. And that's a direct quote from the last paragraph. So Chuck, I'm going to ask you if you would come to the table and begin the reading. And let's do 3 paragraphs at a time.
Oh, I'll be happy to do that. What paragraph are we starting on?
We're starting on page 309, and we're
Mhm.
starting with section 5,
The treasure of God.
the
And
treasure of God.
the
Yep.
first paragraph there I see is a 2.
Forget not the kingdom of God for
Oh,
anything.
that's okay. Yep. Okay. That's the first sentence. You ready for me to start now?
I am ready for you, Chuck.
And 3 paragraphs.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Forget not the kingdom of God for anything the world has to offer. The world can add nothing to the power of the glory of God and his holy sons, but it can blind the sons to the Father if they behold it. You cannot behold the world and know God. Only one is true. Second paragraph. I am come to tell you that the choice of which is true is not yours. If it were, you would have destroyed yourself. But God did not will the destruction of his creations, having created them for eternity. His will has served you, have saved you, not from yourself, but from your illusions of yourself. He has saved you for yourself. Let us glorify him who the world denies, for over his kingdom it has no power. 3, no one created by God can find joy in anything except the eternal. That is not because he is deprived of anything else, but because nothing else is worthy of him. What God and his sons create is eternal, and in this and this only is their joy. Listen to the story of the prodigal son and learn what God's treasure is and yours. This son of a loving father left his home and thought he squandered everything for nothing of any value, though he did not know its worthlessness at the time. He was ashamed to return to his father because he thought he had hurt him. But when he came home, the father welcomed him with joy because only the son himself was his father's treasure. He wanted nothing else.
Thank you. So one of the things that stands out for me in what was read is the word behold. You know, the guides say, behold, I make all things new. I see all things new. So I looked up behold, and it actually comes from an old English word, and it is thoroughly holden or thoroughly holding. So behold is kind of like being. It's being holding, you know. Sandra, we are on page 309 and we're reading through the first 3 paragraphs. We've just finished them. So behold is it's, you know, you cannot behold this world and know God. So I think for me, what that's saying isn't that you can't see the world and know God, because we have to see the world and move in it. But what it means is you can't hold the world in your being as true and know what God is, because the world is in direct opposition to what is eternal.
I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm a little surprised that it's not underlined.
I know it's, yeah, yeah. You know, and the other thing that stands out is the first line in the second paragraph. I'm come to tell you that the choice of what is true is not yours. Mm. Yeah, Lana, you know, everybody can just unmute and we'll just all talk and we'll just all share this thing. I can hear Lonnie, even though her sound is off.
I was reading the next sentence, which was, if it were, you would have destroyed yourself.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I was listening to Pete Hegsbreath give a Heg's breath. I call him Hog's breath. That's not very nice, but Pete Hegseth talking about the war in Iran and just the language that he was using. Um, it was, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something like, you know, total annihilation, merciless obliteration, um, um, uh, um, aggressive penetration. I mean, actually, I think he did use that. As a woman, that word for that phrase for me was like, man, that scares the living bejesus out of me to hear you talk like that.
But that's the intention.
That is the intention.
The intention is to mount the illusion or the dream of what that could possibly look like for
Yes,
each individual in their own individual way,
that's
if you
right.
choose to step into that illusion with them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Those words are carefully chosen for their, whether it's intentional or not, for their frequency, for what they incite.
And they do have a frequency.
Yes.
And so,
But the
yeah,
frequency of them is not that the word just by itself. Yes, the word, all words have frequency. The true frequency is the energy through which is being spoken by the speaker. That speaker is the one that alights it with the energy of fear.
the speaker is throwing the word out and hoping that it hooks us. It's
Yes.
throwing the frequency out and hoping that it's a match for us and that we will take it as fuel, which is why, even though this is sort of old language, the kingdom of God, it's very appropriate in some ways, isn't it? Because it is really showing that for the illusion that it is, the falseness that it is, the unlovingness that it is. And the other thing that stands out for me in the second paragraph is, the creations are created for eternity, which is, that pulls me back into the non-dual teaching, which is if it's not eternal, then it's not real. If it's not constant and it doesn't last, it's not real.
And saved you not from yourself, but for yourself.
Yes. For yourself. Yes. Yes.
I really like the prodigal son story too. And as you were just saying, I never saw when he said he wanted nothing else. It was like a return to his true self, right? Um, yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of what you were just saying, Lolly. It's your return to your true self. Yeah.
And it says it, Mel, by saying nothing else is worthy of you. I'm looking at paragraph 3. No one created by God can find joy in anything except the eternal. And that is not because they're deprived of anything else, but because nothing else is worthy of them. Right.
I was so focused on underlines, I missed the weight of that when I was reading.
Yeah.
And in the story, the prodigal son, continues with the second son, who was upset because there was all this celebration for the son. He never had that, right? And he says, "Well, yeah, you've been with me always, all is mine, all of yours is, all of mine is yours already." So I guess because we can relate to both the sons, I guess.
That I love that because yeah, we are like that prodigal son. And the second son is like the rest of the eternal creation. Right?
Second son is that confusion of, but I've been here. I've been doing this all the time. I should somehow be rewarded for it.
Right. Right.
I see how even that passage can be so confusing, especially for those looking to exist in hierarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's how can I miss you if you don't go away? So let's see. May, do you want to take us off on paragraph 4?
Yeah.
See where we get there? Okay.
Go till 6.
Yes, read 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. God wants only his son because his son is his only treasure. You want your creations as he wants his. Your creations are your gift to the Holy Trinity, created in gratitude for your creation. They do not leave you any more than you have left your Creator, but they extend your creation as God extended himself to you. Can the creations of God himself take joy in what is not real? And what is real except for the creations of God and those which are created like his? Your creations love you as your spirit loves your Father, for the gift of creation. There is no other gift that is eternal, and therefore there is no other gift that is true. How then can you accept anything else or give anything else and expect joy in return? And what else but joy would you want? You made neither yourself nor your function. You have made only the decision to be unworthy of both. But you could not make yourself unworthy because you are the treasure of God. What He values is valuable. There can be no question of its worth because its value lies in God's sharing Himself with it and establishing its value forever. Your function is to add to God's treasure by creating yours. His will to you is His will for you. He would not withhold creation from you because His joy is in it.
Mm. There are a couple things that stood out for me in that. Anybody have anything that?
The only thing I have just real quick, I don't want to start it, but it's been part of discussions I've been involved with, the different course groups and different people involved. And I don't think I've ever clearly come to a resolution myself is what are our creations?
Isn't it love? The light of our awareness and the joy of creating within that scope, I guess. It's kind of a weird jumbly way to word that, but
That's a really good question, Chuck.
Would it be
And
everything I create in my being and with my being and through my being?
and through my being. Let me read a sentence here. It says, your creations, I'm looking at paragraph 4, sentence 3. Your creations are your gift to the Holy Trinity, created in gratitude for your creation. What does that mean?
That's what I was getting at. I'm looking for wisdom beyond what I have at the moment.
Well, is it your presence, and your presence is now. So you're creating every moment because you are the life that is now. And so in gratitude for life, I don't know where I'm going now.
Keep trying.
Creations are your gift to the Holy. So in gratitude for life, you love. I don't know.
So let's look at what the Holy Trinity is, right?
Yeah.
And then Cindy's got her hand up. The Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? I'm going to look here in the glossary for the Holy Trinity. I always have to, what I want to say though here, QRS, the Trinity is the expression of God. QRST. Bear with me here. So the Trinity, and this is how Ken Wapnick describes it, it's the unity of all levels, and it's not understandable in this world. It consists of the Creator, that which the Creator created, which is His sons, or that's what it's called in this, the Christ, our true self. So it's the Creator, it's the creation, which is our true self, and includes all of our creations, and it includes the Holy Spirit, or that binding agent that binds all of creation as the one. And so I think what it's saying is our creations are the gift to that whole system and the way that the system works and holds itself together and moves. I would almost think of it as a movement that is both, it's both the wind, it's the wave, and it's the boat. So our creations are we are the wind, and then the wind is the water, and it moves the water, and it is the water, and it's the boat on the water. So it's both the wind and the water and the boat, and all of that is creation. And so our creations are the gift to that movement because they add to the movement. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
They add to the whole movement. They add to the dance. They add to the song. They add the harmony to the song. That's the only way I can understand it.
I think that's one of the best answers I've ever received at this point.
And the words, the Trinity, the the Father, the Son, or the Creator, the creation, and that which binds them together it's just a way of understanding it, but we can't understand the levels with the language we have or the capacity that we have in this form. And I think Regis is going to maybe explore some of this. And Cindy, this is great. This is a good discussion. Cindy, what have you got?
Was listening to the guides this morning, and a woman was asking a question. She said, I'm confused and somewhat frustrated. She lives in the Middle East. She said, I'm living in the Middle East, and I am having a hard time um, um, bringing into alignment these teachings of the guides with what she's experiencing. So she communicated a level of frustration and asked for guidance. My current understanding of the response, I'm going to be very careful here, and I'm waiting for guidance to put the words together. My understanding, the way it's working on me now, which is very powerful, is that the guide said that God did not create war. The war comes from a human collective agreement to separation and fear. And it's the human collective agreement to experience fear that creates things like war. As a collective, it's being lifted as an individual consciousness. We are given the ability to keep purifying our own space in the upper room. So we contribute to the rising of the collective or the common fear that is currently living as a human collective. We are in accord to war, to fear. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep seeing it. The human consciousness is creating war through an agreement or accord to fear and separation. Once we accept that, then as an individual and as groups like this, we can continue to take the fear and surrender it or offer it through the attunements and the other processes we do. And that is our contribution in assistance. We can clear and start seeing our worlds, and we've all communicated how different our individual worlds are becoming as we do this work. And then every time we do this work to mitigate, to surrender fear, we are contributing to the lifting of the human collective, which will, according to the guides, and I've heard Eckhart Tolle and others say, are in agreement to lifting and no longer going to be able to create from a fear separation based
Okay.
collective.
Got it. I understand that. I appreciate that. I thought you were going to deal with the sentence, your creations are your gift to the Holy Trinity, created in gratitude for your creation.
As I was listening to the question and Chuck asked, what are my creations? It's all of it, right? And so when I sat with that question and I heard the answers, something here said, don't forget to include.
Mm,
And a big part of the guide's teachings are if you see it, you are part of what created it. And when you are in agreement and you accept that you're part of the consciousness that created everything you're seeing, then you're in the position to be part of what creates something else.
okay. Okay. All right.
So that's what I was inspired to say.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to read this again. Your creations are your gift to the Holy Trinity, created in gratitude for your creation. So your creations, May is right. The only way that we truly create is through love. But it's a love that is, in a sense, beyond our human understanding. It's not beyond our expression and our understanding so much as our human experience. We can experience it, but it's way more than what most people experience, right? So the love in a way is just the desire for life. It's the joy of being. It's the joy of being. So if we think of the creator as the music, just the whole idea of music, and each one of us is a voice in a chorus. And we have a unique voice that each one of us sings, and we sing within the music. And the Holy Trinity, or the Holy Spirit, is what makes the harmony of every voice singing forever in eternity. And I don't know if that's a better explanation.
Does that staying in sync with what Cindy said was the lesson that we just did, that fear is not justified in any form? So we're releasing fear all the time.
I guess so. And I don't know what I think even the release of fear is part of creation because it's returning to the truth, right? Although, boy, that's an interesting one.
I'd like to
Amen.
see the willingness to release the
The,
fear is
the
the
willingness.
creation.
The
Yeah.
willingness to release the fear.
That's
And that's what I was, thank you, Chuck. That's really what I was pointing to in what I've been walking around, because I was very affected by that exchange, and the understanding that I keep getting is if I really want to make a difference in what's going on in the world, I have to own, as part of the human collective, I have to own responsibility for everything I see. And the moment I own it, I own the fear that I'm seeing, the conflict I'm seeing as part of the collective, then as an individual, I get to choose love and make a difference.
okay. And we just put a definition of creation in the chat if you want to take a look at that. It'll take you to a page that defines what creation is, according to A Course in Miracles and maybe some other things.
Nice.
The other thing that stands out for me and what May read, and this always really hits me, is you did not create yourself or your function. And that just hits me with such a relief. It's like a breath of fresh air for me. And for those of us who are doing the inner Ramana, that's part of the surrender that Regina is talking about in the inner Ramana. It's and and it's you surrender to the reality that you did not create yourself or your function. You're surrendering to that. And isn't it a weight lifted off your shoulders? Right? And we don't even know we're carrying that around until it's lifted off our shoulders.
Yeah, I've been seeing it with guilt because you feel like you shouldn't have done what you did, and then you feel
Yes.
guilty. And if you can say, well, it just happened, this was just the way it's playing out. And, it takes that separate person's, that sense of guilt away. I don't know, it just made me think.
It does. And then imagine creating without guilt, just for the sheer joy of creating with no guilt. Like just, the kids do that. Kids do that really well, more than we do.
That's what this surrender walk has been for these months for me, has been just like this lessening of the weight. There's that spike-tailed kite again. The lessening of that weight, of that carriage of responsibility for what it is not mine to solve, fix, or do anything with. Once I
Yeah.
relieve myself of that responsibility, because I didn't have responsibility, you know, it just inside I hear it loosened my wings.
All right. Thank you. Um, Lonnie, do you want to read 7, 8, and 9? Would you be willing to do that? But you got to really speak up so we can hear you.
So this isn't loud enough?
It's good for me. I can turn my volume up. Is everybody able to hear Lonnie?
I'm hearing her now.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
It's funny because when I'm in public arenas, I don't even need a microphone for 300 people. You cannot find joy except as he does. His joy lay in creating you, and he extends his fatherhood to you so that you can extend yourself as he did. You do not understand this because you do not understand him. No one who does not know his function can understand it, and no one can know his function unless he knows who he is. I hit a trip up moment in the reading, and so I'm not taking in what else is being read, but I can keep reading, or I
Okay.
can stop and mention the trip up.
Go ahead. Stop and mention it.
There's a trip up for me every single time this fatherhood, the father stuff comes forward.
Yep.
I've recognized to take it as an opportunity to expand it into something beyond what those words have come to mean. Um, but for some reason, I still get in this like seasickness when I encounter the word in this in this reference. It's something to be curious about for me, I guess, because
I do too, Lonnie. I really do. It's taken me, I've been reading the course for over 20 years, and it's taken me 20 years to get where I am right now in letting that go.
totally related to what human beings have attached to that word
Exactly.
and how it rolls. Yeah.
And you know what I say is no father was ever created except by a woman. Ever in the history of this world. A woman creates a son. The son grows up to be a man, and the man partners with a woman who gives him a child, which is what makes him a father.
What I recognize is that the way the human beings utilize the word and the role completely waters down the truth of what that word, how
Exactly.
that's meant.
Exactly.
That it's so much bigger than the way in which humans have contained it.
So much bigger.
It's an intentional derailment of, yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And so, it's okay to say that and speak out about it, knowing that what it really means, there's a certain power in the word fatherhood that we can all take within ourselves, because the father is the protector and
All of
the
that is human. That's human
it's
definition.
all human. It's all human.
The father is the protector. That's human definition.
It is, but I am the father, and you are the father and the mother. We are both the father and the mother, and we are neither of those. Neither. So it's just like the things that Pete Hogsbreath was throwing out. It's like it's a loaded word, and we have to move beyond it, right? But we can't move beyond it if we don't bring it to the light. So Lonnie, I appreciate your bringing it to the light.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Creation is the will of God. His will created you to create. Your will was not created separate from his, and so it wills as he wills. An and unwilling will does not mean anything, because it is a contradiction in terms, which actually leaves nothing. You can make yourself powerless only in a way that has no meaning at all. When you think you are unwilling to will with God, you are not thinking. God's will is thought. It cannot be contradicted by thought.
By thought.
By thought, yeah. God's will is thought. Okay, I hear it. God's will is thought. It cannot be contradicted by thought. Just like you can't fight fear with fear.
Yes. And just like separation is an idea,
Mm-hmm.
right?
God does not contradict himself, and his sons who are like him cannot contradict themselves or him. But their thought is so powerful that they can even imprison the mind of God's Son if they so choose. This choice does not make the Son's function unknown to him, but never to his creator. Wait, let me read that. This choice does make the Son's function unknown to him, but never to his creator. And because it is not unknown to his creator, it is forever knowable to him. I love that circle back.
I
You
do
know,
too.
and it goes back to that thing of regardless of how much one denies the divine does not deny that one. And it's there for when it's remembered. It's always there.
It's always there. That's why you can never not wake up.
And that's why no matter how much one says, that they are coming back to God, they were never away. They just fell into the illusion that they were separate, but they in truth were never separate or
Yeah.
away.
Which is why surrender is the perfect solution, right?
I was glad that I held my comments earlier because I was thinking about our thoughts about the will of God. So we read right into it. As we was talking about, we didn't create ourselves and we didn't create our function. And as we was talking about that, I was at this place where also that goes on with that freedom is the idea that we may not be thinking it in the verbiage, but this feeling or sensation or idea that I somehow can outwill the will of God. All of that is just a lie from the body thought system, or ego as we like to call it. But you cannot outwill the will of God. We talk about uh, I'm here to only be truly helpful, but I always remind myself to replace here with I exist only to be truly helpful. It's not about I'm here to only be truly helpful. It's not about me trying to come up with a way to be helpful or come up with helpful words and helpful actions. I exist. My function, I exist only to be truly helpful. So it's nothing that I need to do. You know, is in this idea that sometimes I'm helpful and sometimes I'm not. All that is just the thought system. In truth, as Lonnie was saying, I quoted on Facebook, Lonnie, over a year ago, but I said, if you feel far from God, who moved?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
God
actually,
has.
somebody, I saw that and I actually reposted that. Whoa. That came from someplace else when I saw it because I didn't know you then, but I
Right, right.
literally reposted that in my feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of these are just ideations that we can slip into it. We slip in and out of it. It can just, but I've learned to catch the little stuff. You know, you kick your leg on the bed, and there's that little thought like, oh, you should have been more serene, or more peaceful, or more in tune to God. You wouldn't have done that. you know, or, or you drive all the way to the grocery store and they don't have what you want, and all these little guilt factors are popping in, as Regina would call the spiritual ego, to say if you were more aligned and more in tune, Walmart would have had what you went in there to get. And it's not coming out in those words, but that little gloom that comes over you, you know, is
Yep.
that's all it's about. Is somehow if I was more in the will of God, this that's happening right now wouldn't be happening, you know. And
Okay, Regis.
Unless you realize that whatever happened was the will of God too.
Well, that's
exactly.
that's that's just it. So, Regis, do you have the purple book? Okay. All right. I was going to ask you to read the next three paragraphs, but I'm going to ask Mel if she will read the next paragraph 10, 11, and 12.
All right.
This Regis, listen to this because this relates to what you were just saying.
Okay. There is no question but one you should ever ask of yourself. Do I want to know my Father's will for me? He will not hide it. He has revealed it to me because I asked it of him and learned of what he had already given. Our function is to function together, because apart from each other, we cannot function at all. The whole power of God's Son lies in all of us, but not in any of us alone. God would not have us be alone because he does not will to be alone. That is why he created his Son and gave him the power to create with him. Our creations are as holy as we are, and we are the sons of God himself, and therefore as holy as he is. Through our creations, we extend our love, and thus increase the joy of the Holy Trinity. You do not understand this for a very simple reason. You, who are God's own treasure, do not regard yourself as valuable. Given this belief, you cannot understand anything.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
That is pretty powerful.
I share with God the knowledge of the value He puts upon you. My devotion to you is of Him, being born of my knowledge of myself and Him. We cannot be separated. Whom God has joined cannot be separated. And God has joined all His sons with Himself. Can you be separated from your life and your being? The journey to God is merely the reawakening of the knowledge of where you are always and what you are forever. It is a journey without distance to a goal that has never changed.
Oh, baby. That's pretty good, isn't it? That's really good. Let me read the last paragraph, and then we're going to just open it up for the next 10 minutes. Truth can only be experienced. It cannot be described, and it cannot be explained. I can make you aware of the conditions of truth, but the experience is of God. Together, we can meet its conditions, but truth will dawn upon you of itself. What God has willed for you is yours. He has given his will to his treasure, whose treasure it is. Your heart lies where your treasure is, as his does. You who are beloved of God are wholly blessed. Learn this of me and free the holy will of all those who are as blessed as we are. Wow.
I don't want to overrun this day. I just want to double check in and see if I'm getting in the right way. Because I have two things. What Reed was saying, well, I have opened my leads in the AA meetings. In the 12-step meetings, I've opened up with that prayer. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because you who sent me is going to direct me. So when I speak, I say that relieves me. So whatever I'm sharing, I'm trusting it's not Chuck that did that, the bodysuit Chuck. It was provided by Source through Chuck. Am I off base on that? And the other part of that is, and I've experienced this, and I heard Regina share this same thing, that she's had people I've done leads and or even comments in meetings, and I heard Regina share the same thing, that she's shared something and she's had somebody come up to her and say, "Wow, thank you so much for what you just shared. I really, really needed that." And then they tell you what they heard, and it wasn't anything at all that I said, or she would say, "I didn't say anything like that." And so what I'm taking that is our own inner truth, our own inner source is hearing what it needs to hear. So it's source, not. Does that make any sense? Or
Yeah. Yeah. Regis, you want to comment on that? You want to respond?
My only comment was that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
And I'll tell you something funny, Chuck, for me, uh, that kind of proves it out. But kind of like what you were saying about Regina, but times when I think I don't make any sense, that's when people will be like, "Oh God, what you said was so," blah, blah. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
this was so convoluted, I don't even didn't make sense to myself. You know? So it just shows that we can't outwill the will of God. We can't mess it up.
No.
It's just a a habit of the body thought system to present all of these ideas that we somehow are messing it up or not getting it right. And it's just always so funny to me how that works, that you know, I say sometimes I help more people by accident than I help on purpose.
It's pretty funny. Hmm. Well, I'm really drawn to, you are God's own treasure. You who are God's own treasure. And I'm looking at paragraph 11, the last actually sentence 3. You do not understand this for a very simple reason. You who are God's own treasure do not regard yourself as valuable. I mean, that just makes my heart, um, it's almost as if it makes my heart weep for myself. It's like all the times that this little Amy person has thought herself unworthy, and the suffering because of that, which has just been, you know, I don't even want to say a waste of time because that makes me feel unworthy to think I've wasted my time. It's just, it's not true, you know, it's just not true. Sandra,
Mm.
welcome. Good to have you here.
Oh, I'm already unmuted. I didn't see that. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to comment. I was prompted to share this, and it goes with what you just said, Amy, which touched me. It says truth in paragraph 13, truth can only be experienced. It cannot be described and it cannot be explained. And there was a moment of truth that I had that almost knocked me off my feet. Uh, Last fall, I went to Italy and I had the opportunity to go where my grandmother was born, and I was standing outside of her home. It was exactly the same home that it was when she was born in 1903. And the house hadn't changed. It was an old house, and standing there, and I had these thoughts of her and how I was the only person, not my father or any of his siblings, had ever been back. I was the first one to go back, and I was feeling love for her. And I was expecting to feel something from her, but I didn't. I felt from my father. Now, my father, I'm tying this back to the words of father, was a very mean man, and he, he manifested as an angry, mean, abusive father to his wife and his children. So I'm standing there in front of my grandmother's house, and all of a sudden, I was filled with the innocence of my father. And the truth was experienced. I saw his innocence. I mean, he had never been in that place. He was born here, but for some reason it came through. And that whole idea of not feeling valuable, he didn't feel valuable. And it expressed itself in bad, ways that hurt others. But it just, I could never, I can't tell you over the years. I mean, I'm 73 years old. I think I had forgiven the man at least, 1,000 times in trying to get, you practice forgiveness. And I had forgiven and forgiven and forgiven, but it wasn't until I experienced the truth. Can't describe how it happened or why it happened, but there it was. He was an innocent. So the word father doesn't bother me anymore at all. So I just thought I'd share that. Thank you for this time, by the way.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. Lonnie, you're going to close us out, sweetheart.
Thank you for that unfolding, Sandra, for that witnessing of that. I'm sitting here and hearing this echo that I never thought I would ever say. but I can actually say out loud that I have absolute gratitude for all the ways in which those interactions with other human beings couldn't fulfill what I was looking for in love, because it's only in those places of that reflection back that ended up in pain that ultimately turned me back to look forward within myself. And that ultimately let me really connect to the love of the divine that exists here and that loves me in so many amazing ways and shows it in so many amazing ways. And connecting to that, people look at me like I'm fucking crazy when I'm talking, when I say I love myself so much. It don't matter if you don't love me. It's okay. That's yours. Because I love me. But every time I say I love me, it is so much bigger than that little I with a dot over it. It's that knowing and 100% trumpeting of the divine that is singing out loud through me. I love me. I love this being. I am love through this being. And it's so different than the act of love, the being of love. So I say it as often as I can to as many people as I can when I'm out and about. Just because I figure if I say it, it plants a seed. If she
Yeah.
can love her, then maybe I can love me.
I love your use of the word trumpeting. That was really beautiful.
Thank you.
There's something so courageous about turning around and really finding yourself worthy in this world. It's such a beautiful courage, and trumpeting is the exact word. When you turn and you realize what that love is, it's just profound. So we're gonna close on that. And I'm gonna read our closing invocation because it is exactly what Lonnie just described. So come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, fire worshiper, lover of leaving. This is not a caravan of despair. It does not matter that you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Still come, and yet again. You are loved. You are loved. Thank you all for being here and making this hour such a beautiful time. I really love us, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Okay. Go
You
with
didn't have to worry about any boredom, did you, Amy?
No. No. Thank you, Chuck. I love you. I love us all. Mwah.
Love us.